In the history of mankind, humans have always coexisted with natural disasters. Natural disasters that often cause loss of homes, livelihoods, and even loss of life. Due to the power of natural disasters, humans can only do so much to withstand these massive forces of nature. While Asia only accounts for 30% of Earth's total land cover, 70% of the world population resides in this region. As made evident by recent natural disaster events, the Asian region is one of the most vulnerable continents to these disasters. Particularly in the ASEAN region, rapid industrialization has led to intensified impacts of natural disasters like earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, and more. Under the ADMER Agreement, each ASEAN member country has a national organization charged with disaster management and disaster risk reduction. However, these organizations are facing difficulties in managing disaster events due to their recent increase in frequency and strength.
The region that has the greatest risk from natural hazards by far is Asia, partly because of the very large population, partly because of the fast-growing cities. It also means that you're accumulating risk at quite a high rate, again, particularly because of so many growing cities.
Many studies have been conducted in the ASEAN region on disaster risk reduction. But these innovative research-based solutions and technologies are not often utilized or even considered when developing policies. Policymaking processes are complex and require interactions with various bodies, including government officials, scientists, business owners, and civil society. Scientists tend to overlook the complexities of developing and passing policies and have difficulties understanding why the most scientific solutions are not directly applied to policies. While policymakers tend to overlook the realities of the scientific field and often demand indisputable evidence that a certain policy or technology will decrease disaster impacts. These policymaking challenges and increase in disaster impacts, which are unique for each country, emphasize the need and urgency for improvements in disaster management in the ASEAN region. Through the ASDMP project, the APEC Climate Center is preparing a disaster management research roadmap for the ASEAN region to guide the strategic policymaking process, which will lead to increased resilience to disaster events. APCC team members traveled to ASEAN member countries and held individual meetings with relevant organizations over the span of 2 months in order to gather local information relevant to each country. With this information and careful analysis, the research roadmap suggests potential areas of scientific research, policy improvement, and technology innovation that can help prevent and reduce damages from disaster events. The research roadmap, while able to provide a general guideline on the future research efforts needed in order to improve disaster management, is not able to fully bridge the gap between scientists and policymakers alone. To help bridge the gap between scientists and policymakers, the APEC Climate Center is developing the ASEAN Science-Based Disaster Management Platform.
Each ASEAN country has varying disaster-related information, data, and policies. Scientists also have a large collection of research, technologies, and information on disaster management. The ASDMP platform serves to collect all of this diverse information into one location. Through ASDMP, those in the field of disaster management are able to easily access information on relevant policies and research, and utilize this information to develop enhanced disaster management policies or systems. ASDMP not only collects and shares information, but also enables communication between policymakers and scientists that allows for the sharing of experiences and information while bridging the gap between science and policy.
In the face of climate change, the ASEAN region is experiencing an increase in frequency and intensity of disaster events. It is important to realize that one country alone cannot solve the disaster management issues that climate change has exacerbated. It is now time for the many ASEAN countries, relevant organizations, and research institutes to come together under a united mission to increase resilience to disaster events. APCC hopes that the ASDMP project will lead to increased preparedness for future disaster events through both bridging the gap between scientists and policymakers and providing the direction towards enhanced science-based disaster management policies.